My name is Mrs. Patty Gerges. I am the principal at Britland Middle School. I'm helping to facilitate this evening's Torrance Unified School District and Torrance Police Department's Drug Parent Education Night. We are very fortunate to have a very good relationship with our law enforcement within the city of Torrance, who day in and day out help us keep us safe here in Torrance. I have two very special guests, along with the assistance of Ms. Keely Hardage from Magruder Middle School, and I appreciate her help in this evening's event, and I'll kind of lay out how we're going to run this event. This is actually a webinar, so we will ask if you have questions to please make sure that you type them in the Q&A box, and after the presentation, then Ms. Hardage and I will go through and we will read the questions to the Torrance Police Detectives and Sergeant who are here to help answer those questions regarding information that you have received from this evening's event. In this day and age, so many different things affect our kids every day. And so it's hard sometimes to keep them safe, but that's our job, not only as educators, but also as law enforcement. Lately, probably in the last year, it's become an epidemic where there have been more and more things that are becoming more and more dangerous for what our kids are exposed to. So I am very fortunate to have Detective Masoni, has been a part of the Torrance Police Department for the last 10 years. 6 of those 10 years have been with narcotics and vice. I also am lucky to have Sergeant Freddie Ahmed, who is in charge of the Juvenile Division and Sex Crimes, Torrance Police Department. So they are here tonight to help us learn more information to help protect our students. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to TPD and to give us more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. This opportunity, everyone being available tonight to listen in. Like Patty mentioned, I've been with the Torrance Police Department for the last 10 years, working major narcotics for the last 6. And we really wanted to just spread awareness and information on fentanyl, since it seems to be on the news every day and it seems to be one of the main talking points for our community. It really kind of began in 2016, which is when I began my career in narcotics. So I've had kind of a front row seat in seeing the evolution of fentanyl and the disguise and deception of fraudulent medication, and how now it seems to be targeting our youth. And that's why we felt this relationship with our school district was so important. This PowerPoint presentation really is maybe just a handful, a small portion of information, but we really just wanted to make it short and sweet and open the platform to any questions and engage with you all if there were any questions. But we'll kind of hop right into it, and we'll go into some facts and statistics with fentanyl when it talks about either the nation and our state. If you weren't already aware, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. It's created in the labs, and it's dangerous because it's 80 to 100 times more potent than morphine. It's 50 times more, stronger than pure heroin. And what we're seeing in the state is basically upwards of 100% drug-caused deaths year in, year out. The national epidemic when it comes to fentanyl, as it relates to fentanyl. This presentation we actually created about a year ago, and a lot of these statistics are so hard to get because we're behind the curve, and the CDC is trying to catch up with accurate statistics. So when we look at getting information and doing our research, in the last month, we tried to update this PowerPoint, and these were some statistics that were alarming. In California, a young person under 24 is now dying every 12 hours. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 45, which is more than COVID, suicide, and even car accidents. Currently, 18 states in the country are asking fentanyl to be classified as a weapon of mass destruction. From 2013 to 2019, fentanyl death rates increased by over 1,000%. Unfortunately, what we've seen the last year to 2 years as well, the increase in fentanyl in California specifically attributes to the open borders. So in 2020, there were only 471 seizures of fentanyl at the border. In 2021, there were over 11,000. So you can see that jump and why there's so much fentanyl, not only in California, but specifically in LA County. So with all the research that we've done, again, about a year ago when we made this presentation, we were able to create our own estimate as to what we projected the next 3 years of drug-caused deaths involving fentanyl to be. And this is what is alarming. It's obviously increasing drastically and significantly. And unfortunately, we found that about 50% of all drug-caused deaths in the state of California are attributed in LA County. And that's for several reasons. LA County is a transshipment hub for narcotics, not only in the state of California, but for the entire nation. So there's a higher presence of fentanyl and narcotics within Los Angeles County. So as you can see, In 2022, we're anticipating over 300,000 drug-caused deaths in the state of California. However, that's over 160,000 just in LA County. And you can see by 2023, we're at over 300,000 drug-caused deaths.
We are community education partners with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and we provide free child safety education. Our goal is to protect the children in our community by teaching them how to stay safe. Our educational programs cover child safety, for example, stranger danger and who are trusted adults, what to do if they get lost, online safety tips and related topics, traffic safety, how to stay safe while crossing the street, riding a bike, walking to school, and more. Our fire safety classes discuss dangers of playing with matches, what to do in case of a fire, and why is it so important to have an emergency evacuation plan. Poison control education includes safety around dangerous substances, cleaning products and household chemicals, prescription medicines, and other items that could be harmful. The current climate has created a greater need to protect the public. Our programs focus on awareness and prevention through education. Many of the parents who attended our events told us that they also learned valuable information to keep their kids safe. We use materials developed by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to teach our child safety courses. It's very important that all the resources we provide are age-appropriate to help us teach children what they need to know, without eliciting fear or negative feelings. We also work with local first responders who speak at our events to make our presentations more interesting and versatile. Children take home a fingerprint card. They get a free personalized ID, and they receive a certificate of completion. They also get a prize at the end of the presentation. Local police officers talk about child safety. The fire department discusses fire safety, and CHP talks about traffic safety. In addition, we work with other organizations that promote public safety to cover other subjects. Some presentations include all topics, and others center on just one. Kids have the opportunity to ask questions, meet very special guests, and take pictures at the end of each class. All of our programs are completely free, and we also offer public safety education for teenagers and adults that discuss other topics. If your organization is interested in our programs, we'll be glad to create a presentation that meets your needs. The class will be specifically tailored to your audience, whether they are children, teens, parents, caregivers, coaches, or educators. Please contact the Utopian Society Project for more information about our free public safety education programs.
Why is all this information and statistics on fentanyl? Why is it important? In all of our seizures at our narcotics team, where we seize fraudulent medication or fentanyl in pill form or powder form, we send it to a lab for analysis. When it goes to analysis, we found that 0.01, 0.05 gram of fentanyl was present in those narcotics. If you look at the graph to the right on the bottom, certain death of fentanyl is 0.002 grams. So that means each pill that we're seizing is 5 to 25 times the lethal dose of what can kill you. Again, the reason why we're here, we want to really just reiterate that fentanyl is doctored as an element of perception. So again, it's in fraudulent medication, and we have some photos to show you what that looks like. And 1 kilo of fentanyl, so 2.2 pounds of fentanyl, can kill upwards of 500,000 people. Based on our statistics of what we've seen in just the last 4 years, there have been over 110 reported overdoses in our city from just January 2020 to present. And something we want to start teaching is an overdose is classified as someone that ingests an opioid, they end up passing, they use self-medicated measures such as Narcan to come back, or let's say they experience an overdose, but it's not enough to kill them and they end up living through it. That's an overdose. But if you were to ingest or use fentanyl or opioid and you die from those circumstances, that's called a drug-caused death. And that's what we're using for statistical reasons. In the last 4 years, we've had 69 drug-caused deaths in our city that we know about. Due to inconsistent record keeping, unclassified drug overdoses translated to an estimated 100,000 additional opioid-related deaths. So it's estimated that approximately 30% of drug-caused deaths or overdoses go unreported each year because, again, it's inconsistent record keeping. With that, we can basically anticipate that we have 89 drug-caused deaths in the last 4 years just in the city of Torrance, which is almost 2 drug-caused deaths per month. A lot of parents have been reaching out to us and asking what is Narcan. It's an opioid antagonist. It rapidly reverses an opioid overdose. Opioids attack your central nervous system, and that's how Narcan basically works, by attaching or blocking to the opioid receptors in the brain so that the opioid doesn't affect your central nervous system. Narcan is safe. So, for example, if I were to use Narcan right now, there's not going to be any adverse reactions. It is only an added benefit. One thing to note, though, is opiates can last in the system for several hours. So if let's say someone's experiencing an overdose and you were to use Narcan on that victim, they could get brought back, but Narcan is only active in the system anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes. So it's very important, if you're ever in a situation where you use Narcan or someone uses Narcan on an overdose victim, to obviously call 911 and get the fire department there immediately so they can get transported to the hospital to get longer care. Our department, we actually utilize Narcan. Each one of our officers carry 2 Narcan nasal sprays on their belt, on their duty belt. This is something we began in 2017. We were one of the first police departments to outfit our officers in LA County with the Narcan nasal spray. To date, our officers have successfully reversed approximately 10 overdoses utilizing the Narcan nasal spray. And something important that I teach and that we've learned over the last several years is that Narcan is just a tool on our officer's belt. It's really not the solution in combating this epidemic. I thought it was important to add this slide because, again, after doing a ton of research and looking at the stats on the CDC, at the height of the pandemic in 2020, statistically, you were 3 times more likely to die from a fentanyl overdose or drug-caused death than you were COVID-19. So obviously, fentanyl is affecting our city more than just killing our youth or targeting our youth or killing victims, but it attributes to property crimes, violent crimes. It's obviously increased calls for service and negative impact on our property value. Fentanyl is actually, I would say it's more than 50% being mixed into our narcotics seized by all officers. I'd say it's upwards of 60 to 70% now, but in narcotics across the spectrum, we're seeing fentanyl basically spread through everything. Again, some more questions on what we've been seeing is, how are our kids getting fentanyl? How are they getting these pills? And it's easy to sell. We utilize all these accounts to offer up Snapchat, Facebook, Craigslist, Instagram. As investigators, we use these as well. And, there were days where we could just go on it, order up, and literally purchase it within the same day. So some of the pictures and ads we saw on Craigslist were off to the right. You can see these M30s, the Roxys, medium-sized shorts. They're getting pretty smart, and they're using the same social media that our youth are using. I wanted to add some photos on the left. So this is kind of the candy fentanyl that we've been seeing on the news. It's been getting a lot of attention. To me, the photo on the left looks more like chalk, like something my 3-year-old daughter would grab and try to play with. And what's dangerous about that is fentanyl is transdermal, meaning it can absorb through your skin. So if it were to absorb through your skin into your bloodstream, you can experience an overdose. And that's what I believe is dangerous about the fentanyl or the candy fentanyl on the left. Again, to me, it looks more like chalk. The M30s, so usually M30s, the oxycodone, are white or blue clearly this looks like candy. Again, these are Smarties, something you give your son or daughter. And on the right, we have the cereal. So there's been a lot of questions with that. That was, I believe, recently seized under Riverside County, so not too far from us. Probably for smuggling purposes by the cartel to get into, obviously, our country. But again, if my child's playing at their friend's house and they see this bag of cereal and they open it, who's to say that they don't experience an overdose because of it? These are more generic as far as like what we see when we're making bulk seizures, when pills are entering specifically Torrance. And I just wanted to add these photos for parents to be aware when they're engaging with their children. So the photo on the left is Xanax. I'm sure a lot of you have seen a Xanax before, a Xanax bar or a Xanny bar. The top photo is an M30, so oxycodone. That's what the M30s look like. And a lot of times that's what we're seizing, basically pure fentanyl. Again, 0.01 to 0.05 gram of fentanyl are in those M30s. And the rest is like a cutting agent. The bottom is Adderall. That's usually what Adderall looks like. This could be prescription right here, or this could be fraudulent medication by the cartel. We would never know. So our department, we're taking an approach where, again, we want to spread awareness. We want to be recognized as a drug harm reduction agency. We want to engage with all of you, spread our message, and again, use you as our force multipliers. If we can reach out to one person and educate them on the dangers of fentanyl and save one life, then this is all worth it. So this is the new approach we've been taking this year, and we've been getting great feedback, and it seems to be having great success. So our prevention, we want to proactively spread knowledge and engage with you, the community, about drug-caused deaths. We want to identify our fentanyl users, people experiencing homelessness, and low-level dealers within the city, and offer rehab and services and guidance. Currently, we're utilizing our federal partnerships to investigate, identify, and seize fentanyl from large-scale organizations dealing directly with the cartels in Mexico. We have several ongoing investigations we're currently doing to affect that. And lastly, we wanted to disseminate press releases and do public outreach displaying our collaborative success. So indirectly, that's going to discourage the cartel's logistics to try to use South Bay and the area in LA County where we are at in Torrance as like a stash location or where to keep narcotics. And that's the indirect goal there. So on all of our investigations, all of our seizures, everything that we do, it's a team approach. And as you can see, we use everyone at the local, state, and federal level. And these are some resources that we use from each of those. And it's proven to be obviously great success on all of our investigations thus far. So earlier this year, we created a first opioid awareness resource guide for our department to be used by all of our faculty to disseminate, our school resource officers, our community lead officers, narcotics detectives, patrol officers, mental health detectives. And we're using these guidelines to help engage with anyone that may need help. And what this says, it offers resources, referrals, housing resources, mental health services, and some statistics and information on fentanyl and how to be aware if you are using opioids.
We want to thank Torrance Unified School District and the Torrance Police Department for putting together this great presentation. If your organization is interested in similar programs, we'll be glad to create a presentation that meets your needs. The class will be specifically tailored to your audience, whether they are children, teens, seniors, parents, caregivers, coaches, or educators. All of our programs are completely free, and we can host events at your location, at our facilities, or via Zoom. Please contact the Utopian Society Project for more information.
Hi kids, did you know that not all heroes wear capes? Yes, you can be a hero too by learning how to stay safe online and teaching your friends what you learned. You need to know how to stay safe every time you go online, when you play games, browse the internet, and even while you do your homework. Protecting your information, it's very important. It's okay to have fun online, but your safety, it's not a game. Go to the website on the screen or scan this QR code to go on an interactive adventure. You will be taken to another website where you'll learn everything you need to know about online safety. You'll get a certificate like this one when you complete the presentation. This fun activity will teach you valuable lessons to help you stay safe when you go online. Print your certificate and contact the Utopian Society Project to receive a special prize. Don't forget to share what you learn with your friends so you can also be a hero. Follow us on social media or visit our website for more information about our child safety programs and upcoming events. And remember that it takes all of us to keep our community safe. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
I would just look for anything where it's not in an actual candy wrapper, the typical Reese's, Kit Kat, if it's in a Ziploc, if it's open, if it's in a pill that you don't recognize. Obviously, kind of common sense, but just as long as you inspect it, I think you'll be good to go. Anything that sticks kind of out of the norm, but I would say as long as it's out of a candy wrapper, or if it's not in a candy wrapper, then I would either discard of it or take a picture of it and either share it with us or call one of us. Our patrol officers can come out, especially on Halloween, for something like that, because again, fentanyl is transdermal, meaning if you touch it, it can absorb through your skin. Anything that looks like medications, again, I showed the pictures of Xanax or Adderall or those M30s, those are oxycodone. They just paint it, or they color it to mirror candy, a different color, rainbow. So anything that is, it isn't Smarties or it doesn't say that brand name, I would just discard of it. So youngest, I can't specifically throw an age to you. Obviously, we're seeing our youth targeted, high school level, definitely. I can't think off the top of my head, middle school, I'm not saying that there isn't in the city. I just highly doubt it. I feel like it would have came across my desk. So I would say high school level teen, people experiencing homelessness. So Dr. Preciado, she works with our mental health team. And last year when we made this presentation, I had to look, I think she estimated over 90% of people experiencing homelessness in our city use narcotics. And if we're seeing that in all the narcotics that we're seizing, over 50 or 60% of fentanyl are in those narcotics. So that's a high number of homeless people in our city using fentanyl, right? So is it a problem? Absolutely. Are they overdosing and we don't know about it? Again, probably, because usually they have their own self-medicating measures. They have their own Narcan. You can go to the pharmacy, get it for free. They have their own ways of bringing it back. Do I think that they're giving it to our youth? No, I haven't seen that in any investigations. Do I think that they're using narcotics that involve fentanyl? Yes, absolutely. Opioids are very addictive. So supply demand, basically, if you put that, let's say in methamphetamine, a stimulant, you could be trying to get someone hooked on an opiate to where they start buying an opiate, which may be more expensive or cheaper, and they obviously get addicted to one versus the other. So, really, I think it's just very cheap. And a lot of times, especially like right now, our youth, they don't know what to expect when they're taking their first Xanax or Adderall, right? So when they put fentanyl and opioid in Xanax and they have no idea what to compare it to, then, they're getting addicted to an opiate, and fentanyl is extremely cheap to make. That's why there's so much of it. Again, it's created in the lab, it's synthetic. So if you can put fentanyl in a pill that is all cutting agents, so basically costs nothing, into what looks like all these other narcotics, your business module, you're making your product for a lot cheaper, and you're creating your supply, you're booming your supply. Social media. So what we've seen on that is there's like DMs, your direct message, especially on Instagram, Snapchat. Basically, like a lot of times they'll be giving it to our youth, and on some drug cause deaths, we've even seen where they ask like, hey, do I just swallow the whole pill? Or like, how do I use it? Do I break the Xanax in half? Like, they even ask this dealer or their friend how to take it. Do they take the whole thing? They don't want to feel too much. So that's what we're seeing on the Instagrams. When we do our follow-up investigations, we write our search warrants and we go down that route. That's really what we see, especially same thing on Facebook Messenger. Hey, do you want to try Xanax? Or hey, I heard you have those blueies, whatever vernacular that they use. Maybe they think that their parents won't see a text message, or that as an investigator, we won't look, directly at their text messages. We won't look at the direct messages, or on Snapchat, a lot of times the messages disappear. However, we have access to them with our search warrants and our investigations after the fact. So yeah, again, for some reason, social media just seems to be the hot ticket. Everyone's different. Every body is different, right? right? So, there's been overdoses outside of like youth, but like, let's say police officer overdoses where an officer was experiencing a fentanyl or opioid related overdose. They had completely like passed and died, and they've taken, one Narcan nasal spray brought them back, and there have been studies or incidents where 5, 6, or 7 Narcan nasal sprays had to be used to bring someone back from an opioid drug-caused death. So obviously more is better than less. As long as you're prepared, you have a plan of action. Even if you get one into the system, it's going to start to work in the brain. Call 911, get the fire department en route. That's your best case scenario. You're going to be prepared. A lot of times they'll get added on Instagram, added on Facebook, and then the conversation starts. Even at the gym, we've seen it where kids are at the gym and they'll just get engaged, peer pressured. It's just one pill, try it, you'll feel good. It's a Xanax, everyone takes it, stuff like that. And I think, a lot of times the dealers, they get it from other friends, and they don't even know what they're giving to the other friend or they're giving to their sibling. It gets so easy to get past. It's a small pill. So I think a lot of it is just through social media, and that's why if your children are on social media, especially in middle school, I think it's important to create that open line of communication with them, let them know about these dangers. Again, kind of spread this message, what we're saying, that one pill can kill, and monitor their social media. I know, that's a conversation for you to have with your children. Obviously, it's, trust is there, but it isn't that you don't trust your child. It's just you don't trust what's going on in LA County, in our nation right now with the fentanyl epidemic. And maybe that's the way you pitch it to them. But, monitor their social media accounts, see if someone is trying to peer pressure them or try to get them just to take that one pill. And again, as long as they know what we're saying today, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be able to turn this around. Los Angeles Unified School District is also trying to get all their schools Narcan. So we could potentially be one of the first school districts in LA County to outfit all of our schools with Narcan, which is fantastic. I think it's great proactive approach by our school district. I know that the grants for that, it will take some time. I know when our department first used the grants back in 2017, when I researched it, it was a matter of, I believe, like 2 to 3 weeks to get every Narcan nasal spray for our department. I think now it's probably a little bit backed up because there's so much interest, which is a good thing. But to answer your question, no, I think if you just, if for some reason the first Walgreens you go to is sold out, go to CVS. I think you should be able to get some.
We will be sending this to all middle school and high school sites, and hopefully they will be posting it on their not only website, but also emailing it to parents to make parents aware, including a copy of the presentation that was given tonight. Right now, there is not a definitive plan in place. I believe that that's something that the school district is working together with the administrators from all the schools to work together to push out information, not only for parents, but also for students, as well as faculty and staff. So this is not just one group, one entity, one stakeholder. This is for all of us to do together, and that's what we're working on currently. Really appreciate the time and effort that went into this between the Torrance Police Department and Torrance Unified School District to educate our families. We hope to get this information out. And I know Detective Massoni's information is on one of the slides, which will be sent out also and posted, not just with Torrance schools, but also on the Torrance Unified School District. So at this point, I don't know, Detective Massoni, if you want to leave us with some wonderful words of wisdom before we sign off.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you everyone for being here this evening. If you could just help spread our message that one pill can kill, and just help recognize us as a drug harm reduction agency. We truly believe that it is our job together. We rely on you just as much as you rely on us. So thank you again for being here this evening. If you guys need anything, again, my information will be passed out. Feel free to email me, and we'll get you the information as quickly as possible.
We will take the presentation that Detective Massoni has and translate it into languages that are necessary for our schools, and then distribute them to the schools. So we will make every attempt to do that.